the alarm go automatically. Someone gave me a card on the tokens where the alarm card was taken out.
Oh, it will be easier to see. If it's a dark background, it won't show up.
Let's see how it goes.
Jeremy, did you like my emoji kanji for Brighton?
Yeah, I don't know why Brighton's a circus, but it's like the top of the scope.
Could I have you somewhere else? That's right in the middle of the camera.
Oh, very good.
It's not going to be a seat.
Isn't the ice cream and technically made from like the same shape as pilot food, but without the ice? Like if you deconstruct the Unicode character, it's made up of two bits, and one of them is the pizza. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy. Here. I forgot. I don't have any, my name or stickers, so I'm just going to improvise. Feel free to grab a sticker and put your name and you can write that. Feel very underprepared for this, so I hope Aaron and Patrick will help me out in the running of this. But welcome everybody to IndieWebCamp Brighton 2016. Woo! Who's been to IndieWebCamp before? The majority have? Yeah, okay, good. Right, what's the best way to intro this? I feel rusty. Should I describe what's going to happen over the next 2 days? Should I describe the,
Why are we here?
why are we here? We're here because we love the web. The whole indie web thing is dedicated to a simple idea that once upon a time would have been uncontroversial, but now seems highly disruptive. Which is that you should have your own website and publish on your own website. And it doesn't mean that you don't publish elsewhere, you don't share, you don't partake in social networks out there, but that you should have ownership over what you're publishing and your own data. Yoshi, can you be in charge of that? Thanks. Oops. Yeah, it's a very simple idea, isn't it? Right? You should have your own website. But easier said than done. The easy route is to just sign up for a Facebook account or some other account and do stuff there, but then you're pitching your tent in somebody else's garden, a walled garden. So the indie web movement is just about people helping each other out to have their own websites. My website is adactio.com. Who here has their own website? Okay, that's pretty much everyone, isn't it? I was going to say who wants their own website, but I guess everyone has one. Good, great. So that's why we're here. I mean, in a nutshell. Specifically, if you want to get into details, we can get into stuff like formats and protocols and how we publish to other sites and how we receive comments and likes and all that stuff from other sites to our own site. But that's all kind of detail, right? The technical details. And that's not really what the whole IndieWeb thing is about, the details. Although we can really get into the weeds, and that's what this weekend, if you like. But the overarching thing is literally just having your own website. Pretty simple. So IndieWebCamp, this is what we got here, is where we physically get together in the same space and help one another have our own website. The way it works is that the first day is kind of like a bar camp. Who's been to a bar camp? Or something dash camp, right? So, seems like it shouldn't work, somehow it works, right? Where there's no set schedule, nothing figured out in advance, and yet it all comes together. So that's what we'll be doing today. We'll sort of split into different rooms, we'll make a schedule on the fly, we'll all put it together collectively, and somehow it all works out. And then we'll discuss stuff. And like I said, that can be really detailed stuff about the nitty-gritty details of formats. It could be design discussions. It could be more philosophical, bigger picture discussions about future technologies. That'll be what today is about. I guess we'll get a couple of, we'll do like half an hour, I think, for each for discussion. That sound about right? Is that what we normally do?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay, 45 minutes. So we'll fit a couple of them in before lunch. Lunch isn't provided, but that doesn't matter. We're in Brighton, and it's a nice day. So we'll all go out and we'll find stuff, maybe we'll go down the beach. And then we'll have more discussions in the afternoon. Again, complete chaos, but it somehow works, where we make a schedule. And that's today, is all about the discussions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Tomorrow, discussion is over, and it's time to build and collaborate, design, and do stuff. Now, if you don't have any ideas about what you want to do tomorrow, don't worry about it. By the end of today, you will, guaranteed. Also, there's definitely going to be other people here who might need your expertise in a particular field to help them get something done on their website. Every time I've been to an IndieWebCamp, I'm kind of blown away by how much gets accomplished on that second day. And we'll finish the second day with demos, where we can show, like, here's what I've been working on today, here's how far I got. There it is. But what we could do to start off today is maybe have some demos of people's websites and how they're publishing, and if there's any interesting things that they're doing to publish. Can I kick it off maybe with opening up my website? So like I said, it's adactio.com. There's a couple of things in here actually that got done during the IndieWebCamps. Was it IndieWebCamp Brighton last year? Or 2 years ago now. It was 2 years ago where I managed to switch my site over to HTTPS. It's something I've been meaning to do for ages, but it's incredibly intimidating to me because I'm not a server person. And it was having somebody in the room who offered to help and said they'd hold my hand that made it possible that I managed to do it in a weekend. So that was really good. And then there was IndieWebCamp Nuremberg not that long ago, and we had some really good discussions on design and like what we can do is look at existing walled gardens, silos like Facebook, Twitter, all these places, and see what are they doing really well that we could use on our own sites. And I think this came out of discussions looking at things like GitHub and stuff where or actually pretty much any social network where it shows your activity over time. I got quite excited about that and ended up adding these spark lines, which was really fun. So yeah, this is my website, and it's got my blog and then little notes. And these notes go out to Twitter or Instagram or any of these places. So I'm syndicating out to Twitter, and then if I click through, you should be able to see that when people on Twitter reply, I get those replies on my own website, and I can do what I want with them. In this case, I'm publishing them, showing them here. So we can get into the details of all that and how you do that. And this website isn't running on a content management system that somebody else has built. It's one I've made myself. I wouldn't recommend that. But whatever content management system you might be using on your site, there's bound to be other people that can help with that, or have made plugins, or have dealt with stuff. But yeah, that's my site. I'm not sure what I want to work on this weekend. Last year at IndieWebCamp Brighton, I did a small thing where I ended up being able to post to my website, post these kind of notes via SMS. That was kind of an afternoon's hack. It was quite fun. I haven't really thought about what I want to do tomorrow, but like I said, I'm thinking by the end of today, I bet I'll have some ideas about what I want to do. So that's my website. Who else would like to demo their website? Introduce yourself and your URL.
Yeah, hi, I'm Aaron Parecki, aaronpk.com. Before I show you some stuff on my site, a couple more sort of logistical things. For those of you who haven't yet figured it out, there's an IRC channel for this event and this community. And there's also several remote participants from elsewhere around the world in different time zones, and they are watching us on the live stream, which is up there. But if you go to chat.indieweb.org, that's where we have the IRC log, and then you can join it on Freenode or in Slack, and indieweb.org/IRC. We'll have links to all those places, so you can just hop online in the web browser, or go download an IRC client, or download Slack, or whatever. There's multiple ways to get into the chat room. During the event, we like to take notes on what's being discussed, what's happening, and especially during the sessions. And we'll go over this again when we do session scheduling, but during the sessions, it's really great to be able to actually take notes about what's being talked about, capture that, so we can revisit that later.
Yeah, if you like taking notes, then you'll be the hero of the hour, against the people remote participating.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, so I think I'll go ahead and show some stuff on my website. This is my site. There's you'll notice a couple of similarities to Jeremy's website, because I've been getting some inspiration from him on a few things, especially these sparklines. But what I want to show is how I post to my site. And this is totally unprepared, so I have no idea if I'm logged into anything right now, so we'll find out what happens. But I use a separate app called Quill, and I'll actually walk through the whole thing. So when I sign into Quill, I'm signing in as my own website, and this lets me use this other app to post to my site. So I can say, good morning from Brighton IndieWebCamp, and I'll tag it IndieWeb, and I'll post it to Twitter, and it includes my location. Now this is, like I said, this is a totally separate app that somebody else wrote. In this case, the somebody else is me, but to demonstrate the point, it's somebody else's app. And then that posted onto my website. And now what happened is, because I clicked also post it to Twitter, it's now also on Twitter. So that's pretty cool. And like Jeremy said, if people comment on it or reply, then the replies will show up here.
And I could use this interface to post to my site.
Exactly. So with Quill, anybody who has their own website, either running your own code or running WordPress with a plugin, or et cetera, can use this app to post to your site. I'm trying to think of the last thing I added to my site as kind of a That's that's a nice thing to
Yeah.
talk about too. Well, this is how I document the last thing I added to my site. Is I use a tag and I use the name of my site. So this is the last thing I added to my site, which was more detail than I'm going to get into right now. But if you are interested in the details of date, time parsing, and EXIF data from photos, read this post. The short version is there's no time zone information available in the camera, so you can't actually correlate it with the location unless you know something else. So this is how I end up geotagging all my photos. That was a fun adventure. But yeah, if you want to come up and demo something on your site, even if it's just showing your site and showing the last thing you added to it, or show what you want to do with it.
Do you have any ideas what you might want to do this weekend?
I have no idea what I want to do this weekend, and most of the time when I come to one of these, I don't know what I want to do over the weekend, and what ends up happening is discussions happen, and then I do something like, oh, I like the Sparkline idea. I'm going to see if I can do that on my site. So it ends up working out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This room is complaining about volume. Please talk to the microphone.
Yeah. When you're up here, the microphone is here, so if you're, the best audio will be if you're sitting at the computer here.
If you can boost it somehow, then that would be nice, probably.
I don't think it's going to get much better than that. Yeah, and you're welcome to use this computer if you don't want to bring yours up. Or bring up your computer and switch it over.
Who volunteers their website distributor? Oh, that kind of stuff. Say your name and your website.
Where's the picture?
It's here, it takes
Right.
2 seconds before
Yeah, especially because this is the hacky what I do. So, I have this website, which looks like a website. Oh, my name is Peter. The URL is petermolnar.net, which recently changed from .eu. The reasons are philosophical. I'll go into depth if anyone is interested, but not now. So the site works, and it's in a terrible condition at the moment. It's in utter chaos. It still runs on WordPress, and I lost my love and belief in WordPress a while ago. So right now it's a semi-static, semi-WordPress site, but it still works, and that's the beauty of it, because you can do whatever you want. You have these magnificent tools like Bridgie, which is what I use to post to various things if I have to, whereas I basically place a simple link on the site, then ping Bridgie, and the rest is magic. And I'm really, really happy that this thing exists. So what I want to do with the site itself is that I do want to make it a statically generated thing and have a minimal backend code to accept mentions and accept other things and various things. And because I'm lazy, the thing I want to show is that I do take pictures, and what I do with the pictures usually is that they do encode the description, the tags, the location, and everything else. I do not want to copy paste it. I do not want to repeat it. I want to post a picture, and I want it to become a post on its own. So that's a long-term thing. And
do you mean getting the EXIF data?
EXIF and IPTC, yes.
Okay.
I do have most of this running now in WordPress, and that's not something I want in the future. That's a short story.
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm going to be working on during the weekends.
Well, sounds like it could be an EXIF session.
That's all.
Good. I will say, you may have lost your love for WordPress, but this is a safe space where, where there will be no...
No, I can still help with. I can still help with WordPress. Like maintain knowledge in WordPress.
It's just a non-judgmental space, no matter what CMS anybody uses. You got your own website, that's the main thing, right? Anybody else wanna show their stuff? Talk about anything? Yeah. Your name, your website?
So my name's Garrett. I'm from Oxford, and this is my site, except I can't spell it. So this is running Perch Runway. The most recent thing I added, like Jeremy was adding HTTPS. Haven't quite got to the service worker bit yet, but I'm working on it. And I guess the thing I'm most interested in is I have this list of places where I can be found elsewhere. I want to start bringing that in-house and sending it out. I checked a friend Al earlier this morning, and we're sort of trying to work out, do we tackle it one by one, or do we look at some sort of syndication API that sits somewhere else and then bounce it out? So I have the opposite problem. I have too many ideas, and I'm not sure where I will find myself going. I'm hoping the conversations today will open that out.
Yeah, well, I mean, from a philosophical standpoint, what you're talking about is POSSE, which is a terrible acronym. Post in your own site, syndicate elsewhere. There are other ways of doing it where you can post elsewhere, syndicate to your own site, which is Patreon. But yeah, we can certainly have a discussion about POSSE either at the large, like meta philosophical level, or down to, okay, I want to post to Flickr, what's the best option? Bridge is already mentioned, that's an option, it's a very easy option. Yeah, great, we can definitely,
Cool.
I bet you'd like to plan the weekends out and have you syndicated.
Very good.
Pretty good stuff. Your name and your website.
Yes. My name is Martijn. My website is even worse to spell, which is vanderven.se/Martijn. Go figure that one out. Yeah. I can very quickly just my website, which I was not planning to demo. This is the website. What I was planning to demo was something that I promised Kevin Marks to demo. He built a little browser extension that will verify links to places where you are elsewhere on the web. So if you have a link to Twitter, you can mark it up with a rel me attribute to say this is me as well. Twitter already does that on the link you supply Twitter with. So if you supply Twitter then with a link to your website, you'll have two pages that point at each other with a rel me attached to the link to basically say, yes, this is me. And Kevin Marks made a little extension that checks all your rel me links on your website. I'm going to go to adexio.com because it's the best example I found. Yeah, sure.
So when you say extension, is it a browser extension?
It's a browser extension, and it should run as soon as, yeah, you already see next to books, there's a little green check mark that pops up. And if I scroll down, this is why Jeremy's website is so good to test this, he has a nice little list of elsewhere links. You can see the API is fetching all the links and adding the check marks or crosses, so you'll get a red cross if you're not linking back, and a green check mark if you are linking back, so you can instantly see which.
We need to get to Medium. Oh, Medium doesn't put your own website in. Okay.
So
Sounds like a DDoS. It's just curling to me.
it's right now, Kevin's extension is curling the IndieWebCamp website, which has a validator for rel me links.
Yeah.
And it just asks their API, okay, does this validate or not? I am working on one that will do it completely in the browser, so there's no external API that you will need, only does a head request to check, does the URL result back.
So you want to do that like a bookmarklet kind of thing, or?
No, it's also an extension.
Also an extension. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to do it the bookmarklet way because, of course, you'll be blocked from getting the external website. You need to parse the external website to see if it has rel me links. So, and the script works, and sometimes it doesn't look right. also something we kind of have to tackle, because if I go to my website and it triggers, I have no idea what it's validating right now.
So this is a CSS issue, is that?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Alright.
So, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Without CSS, it works just fine. No, so that's why, and that shows a good example to demo this on Kevin Mark's own website, Sandtext website. The people who have a nice list of this is me elsewhere, it works really well. If you do anything fancy, it doesn't.
Timothy use CSS. California College. Alright, I'm sure we can figure that out.
Yeah. But that's what I wanted to show off.
Nice. Thank you, Kevin. I'm sure he's probably watching.
He hasn't checked in yet, but
Oh, right.
maybe.
I suppose he could be sleeping. He might be sleeping. Yeah. Great stuff. Anybody else want to show or talk? Use the computer there. Your name and your website.
My name is Tontek. My website is tontek.com. So this is my website. I've been trying to post more and more of my own content here. I started this current version at January 1st, 2010, and started posting all my tweets on my own website instead of Twitter. And then it took me a couple of weeks, but then I had my website push copies of those to Twitter after that. And then I added more things like replies. So here's like my most recent one. I'll just show you quickly. And then the copy on Twitter is there. You can see that. Twitter has different emoji than the normal fonts. One of the motivations I had was that Twitter, until I think this year, didn't have any kind of navigation to next and previous things. So I said, well, I can do a better job than Twitter. And then 6 years later, they added the feature. So I think, yeah, if you look at Twitter now, yeah, see, they got these little arrows finally. Although, I think they're doing it backwards. So this is the whole Back to the Future problem.
Yeah.
But, oh, so one thing I wanted to do is post pictures on my site because I didn't like the way a lot of other sites did it. And this is, I just went this week to W3C Technical Plenary in Lisbon. And this was the schedule of the breakout sessions on Wednesday. So you can kind of see on my own website, it's okay on the homepage, but on the permalink you can actually read what are the sessions that were all done. And on a mobile device, this works really well because it's like full width, you can see them. This was my way of like, I need to keep track of the schedule, so I'll just post to my website. I'll look on my website for the information. But this is just hot linking to the images that I didn't take these pictures. This is just hot linking to the images from W3C's Twitter. So if you look at the copies on Twitter, that's what it looks like. And if you look at the copy that W3C posted, that's what it looks like. And even on mobile, it's just not very accessible. And for example, I can click one of those. Nope, it's just going to use a tiny bit of the screen because there's probably some designer that decides they need a lot of black space or something. I don't know.
Negative space.
Negative space? Yeah, because that's useful because, you know, why would you want to actually read what's on the picture? But I think I'll point this out because I want to point out that massive companies with millions or billions of dollars can still do a crappy job at design, at usability, and you can do a much better job on your own website with really simple things. So that's people keep thinking, well, how are you going to possibly compete with all these large silos? Anyone that's here in the room can do a better job.
So are you thinking of doing something photo related this weekend?
I have a similar problem as Aaron in that I have difficulty figuring out what I want to work on at any any particular IndieWebCamp until I get there. I have been gathering, so the name of my software that I wrote myself, that I guess like Jeremy says, you don't recommend, but if you do, like I've been keeping track of like all the different things I want to work on. So this is my way of getting the ideas out of my head. I just dump it onto the IndieWeb Wiki in the hopes that if someone else wants to work on something similar, maybe we can collaborate, maybe on the design or share code. Most recently, what did I do most recently? Let's see. Well, I don't want to demo a bookmarklet here. Most recently, I wrote a bookmarklet that if you're looking at a permalink of an Instagram page, what's a good one? Jeremy, you post to Instagram, right?
I do, and then get back to my website using OnlyFans. All good.
So if we look at one of Jeremy's posts, I post my photos to Instagram also, but then I have to like manually copy the image, the URL, the description, all of that thing. And it used to take me like all these different steps. And the last thing I wrote was a bookmarklet that copies all of that into like a block of text that I can then copy and paste onto my site, and then it just works. So that was the last thing I did, just to make posting faster. It's a small thing, but it was handy. Is this yours, Jeremy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jessica got a sous vide, so we have some of that sous vide hot.
Cool. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll work on. I'm hoping to think of something today during the brainstorming.
Cool.
My name is Sebastian, and my URL is sebastiangregor.net, as you will see in a moment. Wait, which one was this? There it is.
Usually takes a few seconds before it sees it.
Or then longer.
Maybe it'll do it, maybe it'll I don't know how long is long enough.
Something is happening. Yes, here we are. So Sebastian is my name, sebastiangregor.net is my website, which I IndieWebified about 2.5 years ago. So I have quite a few things running up there, like I syndicate stuff to Twitter, I pull back in likes, comments and all that through Bridgie. What I've been doing this summer, I've actually never seen it on such a big screen. I think that needs a little bit of layout work, but I've been reworking this summer, kind of working up to the IndieWebCamp, which I'm excited to be at my first one this time. I've redesigned the whole thing. I tried out a full Flexbox design to play around with that. I've been playing around with the HTML5 history API, so the whole thing kind of works like a one-page app, but still it works when you turn off JavaScript and everything, it still works nicely. But in general, what I'm mainly concerned with, because my background is not in technology, but in social sciences and interaction design, more from the human perspective, I'm always interested about the way we present our content apart from just a stream, because it's sometimes really difficult to access if somebody just posts everything they post in a stream, or then they make categories by themselves. So I've been trying to start to work on somehow find a way to kind of push the feed over here. And one thing I just, yesterday on my train ride over from Frankfurt, I started working on something like when you read something on my site, that automatically the feed on the side would pull in the related stuff from my feed. So it does not push into you that I just took a picture of my lunch today, but it pushes to you the last 3 bookmarks I made related to the topic that you're just reading here. So these are some of the things I'm working on. And then just briefly to show what I have here, this is one of my blog posts, and so I have down here, this is I was talking about. So I pulled in the Twitter reply and I have a little face pile kind of thingy built up there. And I actually, what I did last summer, I also got the web mention thingy to work, like you can feed your thing here. So it has pretty much the basic things of all this like posse stuff and so on. It's going. The biggest achievement in terms of developing something IndieWeb kind of software-ish kind of thing myself is this little thing. So I'm exclusively working on WordPress just because that's my background that I've always been working with. But I was not happy, again, going back to this idea of how do I present my feed to my readers. I was not happy with this automatic thing, just like checkbox Twitter and then it goes. What I want to have here is I want to decide myself when I write a blog post, yes, I want to syndicate this to Twitter, pulls in a short URL here, and I can write my own, like if there would be a title, it would kind of suggest the title here, but I can edit my tweet before I publish the blog post. And I can also, if it has an attached theme picture, I can also add that to the blog post over there.
So that's a plugin?
That's a plugin which is on GitHub. You can find it through my site if you want to try it out. And also, it's 2 years old and it's kind of totally out of date. I might work on this at some point. But what I'm going to work on this weekend, I think, unless I got inspired by something else, is to work on my bookmarking publishing flow. I've been working on this now for a few weeks. How do I, when I bookmark something, which I've already for a long time, I'm going to demo that tomorrow then, I guess. I think it was one of your very old solutions on WordPress when you published your, I used that 2.5 years ago to build my own. So I'm nowadays doing all my bookmarks to my WordPress. But now I just started to kind of develop a workflow to then afterwards add comments and publish those. And that's, I think, what I want to optimize this weekend.
Well, I would love if we had a discussion on how to present things in something other than just the stream, so that would be great. But also a discussion on bookmarking and links sections, I guess, of sites in general. If there's interest in that, that would be really good. Could you go back to your site again?
Yeah.
Fascinated by that sidebar thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, like
also the screenshots are pretty nice. Is that automated as well?
That's also automated. That's a super hacky. I'm not even going to reveal how it's done. You can ask me in private, but not as long as the stream is on. It's kind of probably breaking all user terms of the site that I use for that. Maybe if somebody can help me with finding my own way of making my screenshots, like that would be interesting. Yeah.
The end result is pretty nifty.
I've been working on that for a while.
All right. So yeah,
Yes.
lots of food for thought.
Yes. Thank you. Looking forward to this session.
Thanks, Sebastian. And welcome to the first webcast.
Yes. Thank you.
Anyone else got like a demo? Ben, you been speaking on anything?
No. I'll show you where I'm at with mine. Just nice and quickly for that.
Oh, okay. Probably take that picture down.
Is that the? There we go. Okay, so my name's Glenn Jones, and glennjones.net is my blog, this little site here. And the blog's got articles on it. The notes section is basically my copy of my tweets. I've got a whole history of all of my tweets on my site, so it's all completely backed up. And the sort of design leads a little bit with that. I'm not overly happy with it, but that's how it is at the moment. It's also got articles on it and other things like that. I built a back end to run it. This site I built my site own. It's built in Node, so it's a sort of my own built site. I also built this back end called Transmat, and it has things like post notes, check-ins, photos, mentions, so they're web mentions, places and people. So it's got lots of data that I use in my own blog and on other sites. Built it about 2 years ago, and this last year I've been doing lots of other stuff, like doing quite a bit of node work and other business stuff, so I haven't actually done a great deal on it, and unfortunately things have broken. But I think there's some interesting bits about what's broken. So I have a little editor where I can actually type in things like, so if I was to just type a little word, that's fine, but it it does things like auto marks up like Twitter addresses, and if I do a hashtag, it'll do those as well. It also finds links and like hyperlinks and stuff. So it's my own little editor, and you can see down the bottom it's got like a number, and it tells me how many characters that I've typed in. And it's also got things like I can bold and put hyperlinks and stuff like that. So I built all this a couple of years ago, and it's one of those horrendous JavaScript hacks, because it's actually a text area which I'm taking control of and completely controlling how characters are inserted and the whole sections of that. So there's a lot going on in the background. And it's worked fantastic for me up until 3 months ago, when Chrome on my mobile completely changed and it's all broken. And now, if you've ever followed me on Twitter, the reason I'm not tweeting so much is because I can't do it through Chrome, and I don't want to do it in the Twitter client. So I've got to fix that somehow. That's gone. The other thing that's changed as well is, if you look on here, this is a tweet I did earlier. In the past, it would pick up the likes and retweets and stuff like that. Initially, I had my own engine. I didn't use Bridgely. I built my own engine into this. That's now broken because Twitter's changed its APIs, and I was doing a little bit of scraping as well, and they've changed the way that they build their web pages. So that's broken. It worked for 2 years, which was great, but it's broken. On the plus side, all my pages work because I've built them as pages and they're all there. So I've still got all of my content. It's just those little bits around the edge that have broken. But equally, I also built into my back end the ability to, if I go into the settings, you probably get an idea. Okay, go on. Sorry, my fingers are all over this section here, if it will do it. So if you can see here, this is actually the section of my back-end site that deals with linking across to the micropub stuff. It's a mixed one. It builds also links into anything that runs OAuth as well. But interestingly, because this standard has stayed pretty stable and a lot of people have been working on it, all of this stuff still works. So it's interesting which bits are broken and which bits haven't. So this weekend, I obviously need to fix the things that are broken and just accept that on the web, the more fragile things about passing information that do break. But the bits about my website, about storing pages and presenting pages, are still there and still work, and so does the micropub stuff. So that's the thing I should do. If I feel like being more adventurous, what I'd like to do is maybe build a bit. Last year for Mozilla, for Firefox, I put my microformats JavaScript parser into Firefox. They've been now included as part of code. And Mike Hippler sent me just recently the piece of code I need to build plugins that will use the internals to do that. Yeah, so I haven't tried it yet. So I thought the nice thing to do would be, I don't know if you guys, but when I'm browsing the web, I have loads of tabs open. And what I'd like to build maybe is a plugin that takes those tabs that I've left open and turns them into bookmarks and posts them to my site. Because sometimes I end up with 60, 70 tabs that I don't want to close because they're all things I'm sort of reading or thinking about, and it'd be just nice to go, bookmark all these for me, please. So if I'm feeling adventurous, I'll do that. Maybe if anybody's else interested as well. Okay.
I'm mindful of doing tomorrow. So I'm currently using a database to store my posts, and I also retrieve directly from the database. And I think I'll still keep using a database, but I would like to have static pages, and I could, have that more permanent sort of resilient solution, like having HTML.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it running at the moment anymore, but I have actually a Mac app that permanently pars my site and created static HTML pages in a folder on my desktop that I just kept as a permanent backup. It just sort of ripped in the background all the time, pulling them out. So if I ever lost my database or all the backups, I would think I had my static version. Sort of reverse ways in it.
Yeah, that's a good discussion on that too.
The last point you made about the bookmark, kind of saving all the open tabs, kind of connects a little bit to what I was talking about, this bookmarking workflow kind of thing, but also to what Chris Aldrich is saying, I think. He's been working also on a way how to store things for read later and then publish his reading process, and I think this could be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in the read later stuff as well. The Mozilla code actually has a really good version of readability, which is the code that allows you to
build a readable page, like strips all across out of it and stuff, and I could help if people were interested in that and pulling that code and applying it to things.
All right. We're definitely going to be having a bookmarking. See that. Any other demos? Introduce themselves, show the website. You don't have to show your website. Yeah, go for it. And your name?
My name is Andrea. I was here last year. It was my first IndieWebCamp, and I had great fun. And last year, what I did was adding HTTPS to my website. This is not actually using a stock image, completely shamefully. I needed something quick with kind of a portfolio and so on. And one of my current obsession is static sites. So last year, actually, I added HTTPS to what is now, I think, v2.ny.vn, which is kind of a brain dump of the last few years. This is not actually HTTPS enabled. It's kind of, I've kept it there. One of the things that I would like to do, I don't know whether I'll do it tomorrow or as part of my other IndieWeb activities in the future, is to migrate all the old posts from this effectively WordPress website to the new website. Is actually from the icon here. Someone might get that I'm using Hugo, static site generator. But yeah, I'm experimenting with a lot of them, and both in my own private stuff, but also for work. What I'm building at the moment is a vertical content management system for researchers and research centers, which is supposed to be working on all the frustrations that I've encountered while doing that in the past few years in different contexts, in research centers and so on. And another obsession at the moment is something about bringing the excitement that I get out of working on my own stuff to a wider, like, family, friends who are keen to experiment, but they don't have the time, of course, they don't, whatever. And actually, last year when I came here, I was in the middle of writing up my PhD dissertation, which was partly about IndieWeb, partly about decentralized web, and I had a great fun in the last part of that as well. And one of the things that I was investigating there is, like, how does it work when we need to kind of support each other to build things that make us independent of the big advertising companies and so on, and all their agendas. And of course, like probably most of us, I have like family friends asking me things once in a while, and also, for example, my father always complaining that nothing really works because maybe the VPN is down, and so they cannot see the screenshot from our garden camera in London from Italy and kind of thing. So one of the things that I'm interested in is kind of building a framework, more like conceptual at the moment, but also picking best practices here and there. Not so much about the technical aspects, but about how to easily like connect and from remote and do something. I mean, beyond the tools that already exist there, but something independent and allowing people to support each other as we do in this event or the Homebrew Computer Clubs or kind of more.
What kind of language would you start to build something like that? Although it's not technical, but you also see different programming languages maybe, and
it's more like surveying like what people do, kind of strategies people employ, collecting.
What about
ideas.
The framework?
Yeah, you can start with user needs, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I have absolutely I've absolutely no idea. It's completely too early for anything technical, and I think like everyone tends to build their own backend or whatever. But for example, if a lot of my family members would not probably be using or building their own backend, but maybe how do I make sure that I can support them if they use Bridgie or Quill or any other kind of more established tools. So I'm not sure what I will be building tomorrow. I think I'm very interested in the idea of screenshots and whatever, something, because I always work with hundreds of tabs open, and since the Firefox, I don't remember what was it called, kind of feature where you could see tab groups and so on visually has been killed. I've kind of been not breathing properly, so something like that is a very interesting idea. Since there is quite interest, I'm interested. Maybe it's good to be working together.
Alright. Anyone else? What is our schedule for today, by the way? I haven't really seen your participants. Your name
Okay,
is?
my name is Yoshi, and my website is, how do you spell? jkphl.is. I'm sorry, but this is almost the same text I had like 2 years ago, and like a couple of indie webcams in between. This is my website currently. I started it in beginning of 2014, and I wanted to write a lot of blog posts. As you see, the last one has been on April 2014. It's not that much, actually. Thing is, I built in a couple of indie web features like web mentions and Realme, of course, and stuff like that. I'm not using Bridgie. That's my own engine, and it pulls like all the retweets and stuff from Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and whatever. What I realized when I finished that one is that it's built on a content management system called Typo 3. Probably the Europeans of you will know that one. I realized that this is not the base I want to have for publishing stuff because it's way too complicated for me. So last year I started to work on something. I call it Apparat, which is the German word for machine, actually. So what I want to do is, right now it's just a set of libraries. Still, I'm sorry. Just not used to the keyboard. A set of libraries that's on GitHub right now, and it's more like an experiment right now. Just give me a second. I'm not used to this keyboard. No. When I started working on this, I wanted to have it to fulfill a couple of this is just the text principles, what I like, the principles I want to build on. Right now it's just a set of libraries. Fortunately, I think it was in June, we had an IndieWeb hack day in Nuremberg, and this is the first ever evidence that I did something. It's just an image. I don't know how to like resize it now. It's a screenshot of the first ever thing. Oh, thank you. It's a screenshot of the first ever thing the library did in a visual way in a browser, and that's pretty much where I'm right now. I didn't do much since June, and I think what I want to work on today and tomorrow is just to get back on track and like find again what I'm going to do next. I started to do a micropop implementation, but I realized that I want to publish stuff with that, and probably it takes me too long to have the micropop ready. So basically, the only thing I have to do is put a markdown file somewhere in a folder, and then it would be rendered. So this is even easier than the micropop implementation. So it might be possible that I'm working on a publishing interface before I'm going to do the micropop stuff. Yeah.
Reload. Alright, what's on it? Okay, so it's now 11 o'clock. We do session scheduling and tea and coffee at the same time. So yeah, this will fit in 11:30. We'll fit in one session before lunch. Yeah. Okay. Good. Then, what are the different rooms we have? Well, so got this room. Let's call it the auditorium. Yeah. C. Bar area. Fine. Let's call it that. And the meeting room. That's the garage door. Those garage doors. I think is a separate room. So there's a screen here, projector screen here. There's a screen in the meeting room, a TV screen you plug into. There isn't a screen in the bar area, so maybe that could be more for the discussions that don't require looking at screens. We've got a whiteboard in the meeting room. Oh, we've got flip charts here. So I think. Yeah, so, session scheduling is how it's going to work. We'll choose a place to put the schedule up. I'm thinking in the common area outside the kitchen. I've got some large-sized post-it notes. So we'll make a grid. We'll make a grid of space and time. And then we'll all talk about what we might want to discuss. And you'll grab a post-it note and write down the name of the session you collectively decided might be good, and you slap it onto a slot on the grid.
And your name.
And your name, sure. And we can go into the details of what goes on the post-it note. And then, you know, we might find stuff flashing, and maybe we need to move stuff around, and actually, can we put that one later? And it'll all work out. It'll all work out. So let's make the grid, first of all, I guess. So let's all head out into the kitchen area, and there's tea and coffee. I can make it. Let me know if you need fresh coffee, fresh water, tea. Always on that. Yeah.
Then, the practice.
Well, I can do it.
You do. We are also. Gary,